We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we're back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. We have Emily Hollingshed. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It looks like we're both freezing our butts off right now, but you know, that's
unfortunately
life. Yeah, that's life in the South, I guess, or the Mid-South, I guess, is the best way to kind of word that one. So it's
sorry, I'm eye watering.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Oh my gosh.
But excited to have you here. Excited to sit down and chat. I've had the opportunity to listen to your new albums several times, and I must say, off the bat, off the top, it is an incredible piece of work.
Thank you. We worked really hard on it.
How long has it kind of been in the works? What's kind of the story behind this?
Well, I've had most of the songs not most of them. So I've had a couple of them written for a year or two, and then I put them out. Some of them I put out like acoustic in my bedroom, and then I'm crying. And then I wrote a bunch this summer, and my dad he's my bass player, and he just was like, let's just go record. And so we ended up recording that album, and it was awesome. I love it a lot.
Nice. Now, did you record that in Oklahoma or?
Yeah, we recorded it at the church studio there in Tulsa.
Nice. How was that experience? Was that is that like an iconic place there in Tulsa, or an iconic studio, or?
Yeah, it's a pretty big studio, like kind of well known to America. Well, like if you're like deep into the music, but I can't really name off the top of who's recorded there. But there's been a lot of things like live there, and but it was an amazing experience. I was tired for the 20 hours we were there, but I definitely should have got more sleep. But it was phenomenal. I mean, it was an amazing experience.
Sure. I feel like musicians are just tired in general.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. I had went to a festival the 3 days prior to that. And then I went to bed at like 5:30 in the morning and had to get up at 7 to be at the church at 8. So bad decisions on my part.
But you know what? You were at a festival. I'm assuming it was a great time, because festivals usually are. So,
yes.
But you know what? Had you not told me that story, there's no way I'd have known listening to the recording. So.
Thank you.
So kind of stepping into the recording process of this album, what did you know off the bat, like what songs you wanted to record, or were you like specifically like writing for this album, or how did that kind of all play out?
Well, I mean, I write like day and night, and it's just kind of what comes and goes, like good wise. At the time that I wrote most of these songs, I just was kind of coming out with song after song after song. And we kind of like narrowed them down. And then there was one song I didn't want to put on there. But the guys were like, we're putting it on there. And I was like, okay, well, it's like my favorite song on the album. So, you know, no, I didn't write it for the album. Like I said, like I didn't really know if or when we were going to record. And then everybody was like, let's go do it. So we did it.
Fair. And then you did kind of like a standard release where you did like 3 singles and then put out the album?
Yeah, we did 3 singles. We just released 2 of them at the same day, but yeah.
Fair. And so how long had you been writing before you decided, or before you had the moment where it was like, okay, we need to record this from your dad?
I mean, I've been writing for a while. We were actually in studio for one of the songs, and then we were just going to release a single. And then my dad was like, well, let's just do the whole thing. And so we did.
Fair. What single were you in there in studio for?
We were recording Oklahoma Weather, and then, which I really love the way that it came out with this guy, but I wanted everything kind of sound the same. So
Fair, fair, fair. So
Yeah.
was it during severe weather season for that you were recording Oklahoma weather?
No, I actually had that song written a couple years ago, and I didn't like the way that it was, but I was like, this is kind of a good idea for a song. And then me and my buddy Stone Mendez, he's the only other co-write on that album, but we wrote that song. We stayed up till like 6 a.m. on FaceTime writing the writing the lyrics. So, but
Was was that during like COVID times, or was this kind of after that?
this was this past year, I
Okay,
believe. It might have been like November 23,
okay,
maybe. I don't know.
gotcha. So it seems like um, a lot of your songs here for this album in particular are a bit newer as far as writing goes.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. And so now that the album's out, it's been out for a few months. What's kind of running through your mind right now? Where's kind of your headspace at?
Oh, all over the place.
There.
I'm hoping to be releasing some acoustics next couple like weeks or months, and then throughout that we'll be releasing singles throughout the year, hopefully into an album, but who knows?
For sure, for sure. And have you been out playing out shows in support of this album?
Yeah, I'm full time. I've been doing this acoustic for a year and a half, but we've been full band for about a year, so we try and get as many a month as and gosh in as we can. Like we have one this weekend, but we're just kind of I don't know. We're trying to play it good and not be playing everybody else's songs. But it's been really good. I my first moment was at my album release party when a bunch of the people knew Oklahoma weather, like they knew all the words to it. That was a really cool moment.
Guys, were you like playing it and they were singing it back to you? Is that kind of what was going on?
Yeah,
Nice, nice,
it's
nice.
pretty cool.
Was this a full band gig or was this like more of acoustic?
It was full band. I we had like a week to prepare for it, and we had a pretty good crowd show up. And then I had a couple buddies open for us, but it was a it was a lot of stress in a week. But it was yeah, it was full band.
I imagine stress is just like comes with the industry, I guess, right?
Mm, I guess
Nobody wants to admit it, but like it's a stressful industry. Like
it definitely is.
so, nice. Oh, so you you grew up in Oklahoma, like born raised in Oklahoma?
Born and raised, I still live in the same town.
Nice. How what was it like growing up in and around Tulsa? Like, because you grew up in like the suburbs of Tulsa, right?
Yeah,
Or
I live like 30 minutes south. It's a town called Coweta.
okay, I knew I saw what it was, and I was like, I'm not going to butcher that name, so I'm just going to let you
I
bring it up.
gotcha.
So,
I gotcha.
and ironically enough, I wouldn't have been that far off. So it is what it is.
Good. Good. Proud of you.
I try. I try. As somebody that grew up in Illinois and we've got all kinds of random city names and people just
That's for
don't,
sure.
I just don't even bother anymore. So, um,
What about you?
growing up in Coweta, who introduced you to music? Was it your dad that kind of introduced you to music, or did you kind of find it on your own?
I'd say probably my grandpa, my mom's dad. I grew up like in picking circles and singing like Merle and old stuff, and so I still have a heart for that. Old music is where I get my roots from. But yeah, I grew up playing guitar with him, and I wasn't any good until well, I don't say I'm good now, so I didn't take it serious until past couple years. But yeah, my whole
Nice.
family's really into music, but he's definitely who pushed me.
What was that light switch moment where you were like, okay, I need to take this seriously?
Oh man. I don't know if there ever was one. No, there was. I worked at a hospital in Tulsa, and I started doing like I started going to open mics and started kind of doing song swaps. And then I told my mom before I had like steady shows of mine, I was like, told my mom and my dad, I set them down and I was like, listen, I'm gonna go part time in my job and then see kind of where this goes. And they were very supportive of it, but also like, what are you doing with your life? But then I finally I started picking up shows here and there and forgetting about this work. And so then I just quit my job, and it's been a roller coaster ever since. But
Right, right. It's it's always a tough decision to make to kind of go full steam into the industry, but I've not heard one person that's made the full commitment and taking advantage of it, like actually like committing themselves to their music and actually practicing, playing, recording, like doing all the things you should be doing. Nobody really complains about it, like if they're actually fully committed to their music like that.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah. So kind of looking at you and your music now, you'd mentioned that you're hoping to get some more singles kind of out. Um, do you know like what you want to release, or is it still like just kind of in the writing process right now?
I actually have a few that are recorded. I recorded them with a buddy, but kind of deciding which ones I want to come out first.
Nice. Are you trying to like time it seasonally, or are you just kind of waiting for like a feeling or seeing how like crowds respond to it?
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of waiting for, I don't know. I'm a big like wait until the right moment type of person, but this one that I'm gonna release first is called Hello Goodbye, and it's pretty heavy on my heart. It's one of the favorites that I've ever written, and it's just very like soul touching, I guess. At least it is to me. But hopefully, I don't know. I gotta still send it off for masters and everything, but hopefully I put it out pretty soon because I'm ready for
Nice.
everybody to hear it.
Nice. Is it now? Are these songs that like people have heard, like you play it out live, or are these brand new? Nobody's heard them other than like your people.
A couple people, well, a couple of the songs I play every show, but some of them people don't really know
Okay,
or I've never played them.
gotcha. That's cool. Is that like a kind of a practice that you utilize? Is just kind of recording them and releasing them and letting them be what they are, or do you kind of like to have a mix of songs, releasing songs that nobody's heard, and then also having songs that people have heard, like just kind of finding that mix?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really looked at it that way, but I guess I do like to play my songs before I release them,
Mm-hmm.
just because I feel like it kind of gets not only the hype, but people can listen to it more than once and be like, I remember that song, or, I don't know.
Fair.
I guess a mix.
Fair. And like that's ultimately what I was trying to figure out and trying to figure out how I wanted to ask it because, I feel like kind of it's a double-edged sword, right? Like having those songs that people can hear play out live before they're even recorded. In my opinion, I feel like that's a lot of the reasons why people come to see your show is like, okay, she's going to play songs that I can't hear anywhere else. So that's kind of the selling point, like one of the big selling points to come see you play live because I like your
Yeah.
music and I want to hear songs that I can't hear anywhere else. Like, yes, I want to hear the classics. I want to hear Oklahoma Weather. I want to hear Think of Me. Like I want to hear those songs too. But the song that you just wrote that just kind of randomly makes it in, that's what makes things interesting. And it also gives you the opportunity to kind of um, let the song mature and figure out like where it naturally feels good instead of just
Yeah.
kind of going
I
off of.
definitely, I definitely sit on songs like that. And we play them full band before we record them, kind of see what the crowd says. But I definitely sit on them and see where everything's going and where, because Oklahoma Weather, we started playing that way before we recorded it, and listening to it back then and now, it's like two separate songs.
Mm-hmm.
They don't sound anything alike.
100%. 100%. So, kind of show wise right now, you said you got a show this weekend coming up. How often are you playing out through, like, obviously, right now it feels like weather's a little bit more of a concern than it needs to be. But
Yeah.
How often are things starting to pick up right now, or is it still kind of a slow time of year for you?
It's kind of here and there. I don't know. A lot of people say that like the winter months are really slow for musicians, and I agree, but kind of disagree because I was pretty busy. Like last week, I had 4 shows back to back, freaking
Mhm.
Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, back to Oklahoma. Stupid driving. I don't know why I did it, but it was amazing. It was the best time of my life. Um, I play like 2 to 4 shows a week. It really just depends, but I don't know. I mean, it's starting to kind of pick back up. I'm ready for the spring though, because that's
Yeah.
definitely gonna it's definitely gonna help things. But
Right, right, right. Feel that during the winter months you get asked to play more like solo acoustic stuff, or is it kind of even all the way around?
I guess probably more acoustic,
Hmm.
I
Okay.
think, unless it's like for a bigger thing. But
Yeah, fair. The reason I ask is because I've talked to, like you had said that a lot of musicians say like the winter months things kind of slow down, but I know a lot of solo acoustic musicians that they'll play anywhere from 4 to 7 shows a week any month of the year. Like
yeah,
it doesn't matter. And then I feel like a lot of the other people I talk to are full bands that are like, oh yeah, from November to March it slows down. And
yeah,
it's
a lot of people take off,
yeah, that
but
too.
I
So
did not.
fair. But you're a full time musician. Like everybody's in a different situation. So it's
Yeah,
just kind of like you've got to kind of keep playing. Otherwise, you're not going to have any money
pretty
coming in.
much,
Yeah.
pretty much.
So, um, outside of music, what do you like to get into? What do you like to do outside of music?
Man, music kind of takes up my everything. I love to fish. I'm a big fisher, but I haven't been in a while.
Hmm.
I like to drive around and get into trouble, I guess. I don't really get into trouble. I say that, but I don't know. Music kind of just takes over my whole life.
Fair.
So,
Do, do you do a lot of like busking in downtown Tulsa, or is that not really welcome there?
I mean, I'm sure it's welcome. I don't really do it. I normally just play my acoustic shows and
Hmm.
or full band, but I would love to busk. I think that'd be fun.
Nice. Yeah, I was kind of curious because it's like it's been a while since I've been to Tulsa, like actually like been there, stayed there. But I feel like since like Tulsa King came out, that there's a lot of people that are talking about and like going to visit Tulsa. Is that something that you've
I
noticed
don't
or?
know. That's not even recorded here. I think it's
No,
recorded in like Georgia. But
that's
I've heard a little bit about it, but I haven't got to watch it yet.
fair. It's one of those things where it's like I didn't know if that like helped boost tourism. So like all the musicians are just like out at these places in Tulsa, just kind of busking or whatever. So.
I don't know. I'm honestly like I try and stay out of Tulsa. I mean, I love Tulsa and I love the scene. I'm not 21 yet, so I really can't go like most places that people play, but the scene's incredible. I mean, we got like Merc, Shine, Vanguard's an amazing place. We'll
Yeah.
be headlining there in April.
Nice.
But I don't know.
Nice.
I haven't really got to dip my toe in yet.
Fair, fair, fair. You just inadvertently brought something up, and I kind of want to pick your brain on it because this was a conversation we were having last night on the podcast. It, what's it like being an under 21 musician that primarily plays bars? What is it currently like?
Well, I've never really had a problem with it. I mean, I get, I people say that I look older. I've been asked a couple times. I have an affidavit, so it's completely legal for
Mm-hmm.
me to be in there. And I don't mean this by anything, but it is
Yeah,
legal for me to be in there. But like I'll have like my friends or like my fans or whatever, and they'll start talking about how I'm just like, shut up, like
yeah,
just stop making a problem out of nothing. But
yeah.
no, it's honestly not that bad, but I personally know a lot of underage musicians, and even my friend she turned 21, and I can't remember when, maybe last May,
Hmm.
and we go in somewhere together, and they boot her out. I'm the one
That's
that's like 19 or I'm 20, but Yeah, I don't know.
Fair.
It's different for everyone. It's definitely harder though because some places are very strict about it.
Hmm.
But
And that was the conversation we were having because, like, I know, especially for like a lot of bands, and I'm sure this is probably a situation you relate with, being the youngest person in the band and going to play these bar gigs. Obviously, you can't do certain things that other people in your band can, and just kind of finding that balance. And A, how does that work? But B, also, how does the bar, does the bar like kick you out after a set, you know? But you're
yeah,
also talking to somebody that's in their mid to late 30s and just kind of, you know, the scene was a little bit different back in the day.
yeah.
So
It's different. It's very different.
fair, fair, fair. So kind of looking back, because you just the album you just released the towards the end of last year, that was your debut album. Um, how does it feel to kind of have that first project out and just kind of like a representation of who you want to be as a musician?
It feels it feels pretty freaking fantastic, I will say.
Fair.
I'm obviously like my worst critic, but I think overall I mean, my band's incredible. I mean, I don't know how I found these guys, but I found them somehow. And I don't know. I think the album really does represent me. Um, it's it's got a little bit of that sweet and a little bit of that I'll punch your face in, but I don't know. I feel like it definitely represents who I am. But I can only imagine what we're gonna do in the future because we're working on some stuff right now that I just can't wait. It's just kind of all over the place. Like I'm not really one genre. I'm kind of just everywhere.
Right.
So
I mean, I picked up on that right off the top from the album, just kind of like, you know, just starting from the top down, just kind of started off a little bit rockier and then it calms down a little bit and then it picks back, you know, it's just kind of the different, like it all sound like it's all cohesive across the board, but it's got a little bit of different feel, a little bit of a different vibe, you know, so that's, I can definitely feel that you were influenced by several different types of music.
well, thank you. I'm glad that came across.
Yeah. Uh, Kind of going through that, who would you say are kind of like people you're listening to right now as far as music goes?
Oh, right now, I wish you could see my playlist. But I listen to a lot of like grunge and rock right now.
Nice.
I grew up on everything, but
Yeah.
I listen to like Hank Jr., Alice in Chains, like everything.
Nice.
It's ridiculous, but yeah, that's who I listen to right now.
Right. It's gotten to, I'm kind of in the same boat. It's gotten to a point where I have to make separate playlists depending on who's in the car with me. So
Oh,
it's
I just
like,
don't care. I just let it play. I'll hand him the phone every now and then, but I listen to a lot of Treaty Oak too, and
mhm,
like Coetzel and Dylan Wheeler. But a lot, honestly, my whole playlist has been grunge and rock for the last couple weeks.
right, right, right. I've been going through like an early 2000s like pop punk and ska type situation,
Heck
and
yeah.
it's it's like it feels good and I love it, but then like every once in a while like a country song will slide in and I'm like, ooh, that feels really good too. And then like
Mhm.
from my childhood, like Cypress Hill and like hip hop and stuff like that starts to come in and I'm like, dang it, this all just feels really good. And so I have like this massive playlist of randomness.
I do too. I do
Yeah.
too. I love a good acoustic song in the car too.
Mm-hmm.
Those are nice.
Oh yeah. The one thing that's been, I don't mean like killing me in a bad way, but it's just been kind of getting to me every time it comes on are like these slow, sad piano ballads, like talking about like mental health or, you know, stuff of that nature.
Those will get you.
Yeah. It's like Teddy Swims is like he'll come on and it'll be like, all right, do I want to cry right now? Do I want to cry right now? Nope. Okay, next song. Next
Yeah,
song.
I know. Like
Yeah.
you love them, but you gotta just next.
Yep. And then Teddy Swims goes, and then somebody else comes on. It's like, dang it. All right, fine. Let's go back to Teddy Swims and let's go through this gauntlet, and I'll just
Let's
kind of
get this
deal.
out of the way.
Right, right, right. Oh man, it's a whole experience. Uh, so you'd mentioned that you like to go fishing, right?
Mhm.
Well, what are you usually fishing for up in Oklahoma? Is it like bluegill and stuff like that, or what do you got?
I'm a bass fisherman, just a regular schmegular, just bass
Okay,
and crappie, and I like to spoonbill,
nice.
like snag. That's really fun. I haven't been in a long time, but I like to do that.
Nice. That's the one thing I miss about living in Illinois is just like the random fish fries. Like somebody's like, "Oh yeah, we went out to so and so's pond. He wanted us to catch all the bluegill or the whatever was taking over his pond." And
Mhm.
it's like, "We're frying them up tonight. Come on over." And it's like, "All right, so let's
Yep,
go." So
catfish is my favorite. I
yeah,
really want to go noodling. That's like a dream of mine.
nice. Yeah, there's this place right across the street from where I live. They serve they're no It's weird because I live in Central Texas and I don't think we're necessarily known for our catfish, but there's this place that serves like killer catfish. I was like, I have no idea where you're getting this from, but it tastes
Man, I need to come
delicious,
down there then. I love catfish.
right? It's it's got a little bit of a spicy kick to it, and
Oh,
you because for me, I like my fish fried. Um, it's so
I do too.
if it's salmon, I'll take it like just baked or whatever. But anything else, just fry it and give it to me. I'll eat it. Don't matter.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah. But I don't want to keep you too much longer. If anybody wants to check out your music, all that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
You can find me on social medias at Emily Hollingshed Music, or you can find me on all streaming platforms at Emily Hollingshed.
Nice. Awesome. And then one thing that we like to do with everybody that comes on is we like to pass on a little bit of information to the young musicians out there. So, what's a piece of advice you would like to pass on to a young Oklahoman musician that may be listening?
I'd probably say just get out and play as much as you can, get in front of people, and that's probably the best advice I have.
Nice. I mean, I feel like it's going to mean a little bit more coming from you because you're so young in your career, and just kind of giving that little bit of insight probably means a little
Yes.
bit more. So,
Well, thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Well, once again, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being so flexible after yesterday. Yesterday was kind of an experience. So,
Me too. No,
yeah,
thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. Well, once again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you all later. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Live and Amplified's Indie Fusion podcast. If you'd like to support anything Live and Amplified does, please follow us on all of our social media platforms at Live, the letter N, Amplified. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, any of them, all of them, at Live, the letter N, Amplified. And if you would like to buy any official Live and Amplified merch, you can do so at our merch shop, link in the description below. Once again, thank you all. Have a great day.